This is Liz. I'm gonna be your host. I think his name is Brian. Okay, we're waiting for Brian. Come on. Where is he? We got 2 people. We have 4 people. Who's coming with me tonight? Come on, let's get on here. Let's see. I got some questions for Brian. Let's see what kind of questions. Let's wave. Hi. Hi, guys. Wave. Oh, I think I did something. Okay.
Switch.
Hey, guys. There's 8 people.
Done. You're done.
Alright, I gotta go. He doesn't want me to be on live anymore.
You're done.
Okay. Bye, guys.
Yo! What's up, everybody?
That's my coffee.
It is yo man, Eddie from EMP, and we're back. A little surprise for you. That's my girlfriend, Liz. And I hope you guys are excited tonight because we've got another guest. And his name is Brian with his 79 Indianapolis 500 pace car. So let's get him on. I hope you guys had a little laugh right there. Ryan's laughing.
I was trying to wave. I couldn't do it, guys.
It's okay. It's
I was
okay.
trying to wave.
Alright, let's get Brian on here. Oh man, we're trying to have some fun. I hope you guys are ready for some action.
What's up, Eddie?
What's up, Brian? So we found out how you got into, Mustangs. How did you, because I watched on your page, or I'm sorry, I saw on your page, you do a lot of the stuff yourself. Where did you learn all of that? Was that kind of as you go, or did you go to school?
I'll show you. So YouTube wasn't really a thing back then. So it was these, I don't know, how do you flip this thing around? It was these guys right here. I have a bookshelf of 5.0 Muscle Mustangs and fast forwards. There's more down there, and it's just, that was my education.
Whoa,
man.
dude, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was picking up the Mustang magazines and just reading the tech articles and just getting out there and doing. I mean, I definitely made my share of mistakes with stuff I've done on cars in the past, but I've learned from them, and that's like the best way to do it. So just learning by magazine articles, and when YouTube came around, it was watching a bunch of YouTube videos, and nowadays I just go on all data if I don't have access to knowing anything. But it's the magazines, it's where it all started.
Yeah, that's so inspiring, man, because I think there's a lot of people on here that, read those magazines, and I know that now there's, that magazine, Muscle Mustangs and Fast Forwards isn't out now, but we're gonna get Mustang Hub. Yep. But I still love magazines. I still read like everything. This is ignition systems, things from Maximum. I don't know, maybe I'm old school, but I love that you did that.
So it was the car was supposed to be, it was going to have like a 6-page feature in the March issue of Muscle Mustangs and Fast Forwards. And they stopped print the month before the magazine was going to come out. So I never got to see it in print. But Eddie from Mustang Hub reached back out, and I'm actually doing another photo shoot with the car next week at a local racetrack so they can run a feature in Mustang Hub. So you'll see it in Mustang Hub sometime end of this year or early next year.
Get out of here!
Yeah, super pumped.
Dude, that's so sweet, man.
Yeah, I think he felt bad. Like the month before it was such a knife jab in the heart. But...
Wow, that's like almost, well, maybe not everyone's, but one of mine at least, to be in the magazine, like period. I don't care what magazine it is. It's like, especially what you've done already. That's awesome.
It's cool, man. I'm excited.
Yeah. Let's go to your car. So we can learn a little bit about you. Where did you find your current Fox body? When and where, I guess?
So the pace car?
Yes.
So the running joke is I only paid $300 for the car. So
what?
Yeah. So my uncle bought it brand new in '79. So I had the original window sticker for it, like binders of every single documentation and receipt for this car, everything from like a tire to a belt replacement to shipping it overseas. He took it all over the world. So he's got photos of it on the Autobahn in Germany when he PCS'd over there and just being just all over the place. He ended up parking it in his dad's airplane hangar in Texas when he did another move overseas, couldn't take it with him. And it sat there and just rotted away for over 10 years.
Oh, wow.
my dad was in the military, so we would travel back and forth cross country every time we would move, and we would usually make stops in Texas. And so my grandfather would take us up in his airplane, and then he had a '73 Mustang that he would let us drive around the hangar there. And I always saw this car parked in the corner, but it was like stuff was being stored on it. So I didn't really think too much of it at the time. So when I reached out to ask if I could buy the '73, my grandfather had sold it to my aunt, and it ended up getting totaled. And so I asked, well, what's going on with the '79? I remember that was parked back there. Is it still there? He said, yeah, it belonged to my uncle. He had plans to rebuild it with his son, who's also in the military, and it just never worked out. So his son at the time was stationed only like a couple hours away from where we live, and he agreed to trailer the car up from Texas all the way to Virginia and pit stop in Fredericksburg and then finish down in Norfolk. And the only thing he asked for was gas money to trailer the car up. So I gave him $300 in gas money, and he signed my car over, and the rest is kind of history.
Wow, yeah. What a story, man.
Yeah. So it's been in the family since day one. It's never going anywhere. I get people asking if I'm going to sell it all the time. It's not. It's one of the family, and
you can't do it now. That just has, you can't put a price tag on that, you know?
No, not at all. So we've made moves where we've had stints in apartments just to downsize and things like that for financial reasons or whatever. And we've always made sure that this was stored somewhere safe, because for the longest time, it didn't have an engine. So before my wife and I got married, I built it up, and it actually drove us away from our wedding. It didn't have a hood on it. And it was, at that time, it was a 331 with a T5, and we wanted to buy our first house, so I sold all the performance stuff off of it, and that was our down payment for the home. And it sat without a drivetrain essentially for almost 12 years until last year. My wife was like, hey, let's do this. So
that's incredible. Yeah. So wow, I didn't. Well, I don't think I would know that, but that's crazy.
Mm-hmm. And what actually started the build was, and when we do the walk around, I mean, it's already on Instagram, but the SBE Series 1 wheels, late model, did a really limited run of the sand color. So when those wheels came out, I brought them right up to my wife. I was like, I don't know how we're going to do this. I'll pay for it monthly out of like my spending account, but we've got to get these wheels. Match the pewter on the car perfectly. So she said yes to the wheels. And when the wheels came in, it was like, okay, well, let's do suspension. And then it bled into the rest of the build. So the wheels are what literally started the build on the car.
Wow. Yeah. I love those wheels are perfect for that car. I went back in your page and I saw when you first got them, and that couldn't be a more perfect wheel for that specific car. It's, hands down.
They sound great. I love them. And to me, like the wheels are what makes that car. So you could have a beater, but if you've got the right stance on that car, the right wheels, and it just completely changes the look of the car. So I'm a huge proponent of, like money on suspension and wheels. If you're looking for that right look, get what you want. Don't care what anyone else thinks, and then just enjoy what you got. And that's exactly what I've kind of done with this one. So
I think you did a great job, which kind of leads us into my next question. And if you want to do the walk around now, that's a perfect time for it. Yeah. What other mods, and tell us all the hard, because I've seen the hard work on your page. So tell us about everything.
Yeah, let me get the. So this is actually that's what I started with, and this was actually the second version. So I started with stuff and had to erase it all to put more stuff on there. So I'm OCD with things, and I've got to have a list. That's how I work at my day job and everything in life. So I had to put everything up on the board. But
you're definitely not missing anything.
No. Well, what I need to do is I need to put Holly Sniper on there and On 3 Turbo Kit.
Ooh, oh my God. Brian, that board reminds me of Gone in 60 Seconds when they're chasing down all the cars to steal.
Oh, yeah. You're right. All right, so let's see. It's really like your basic bolt-on everything. Engine's actually a short block out of an 85 GT, the last 85 that I had. I stripped that out, rebuilt the bottom end. So it's a 306, Speedmaster 190R heads, Wyman intake manifold, Edelbrock 600 carb. And then I spent about 7 months wire tucking the bay. So
Wow.
I've got the pieces that sit in here that kind of help smooth it out. I haven't had the time to do it.
Honestly, it looks doing that, smoothing it out, it obviously takes it to another level. But
Yeah.
my car is, I don't have it tucked, but I would love to have what you have done. That would be perfect for me.
It took a while. So like, I don't know, you're not going to be able to see it, but I have the coil and the fan controller under the under the driver's side fender. And then
Okay. I can see the coil.
Yeah, I've got the On3 oil filter relocation kit. So I got
Yep.
that sitting under the fender as well. But yeah, this is my buddy in Texas, James Hansen, turned me onto this. So it was like $14 for the piece, and you can mount the coil wherever you want. It just really cleans up that part of the ignition system.
That is so cool.
Yeah, and everything else is sitting over here. So I've got all the electronics or anything that is wired to this one loom, and it just feeds into that one hole, and then everything is neatly tucked under the passenger fender. So the relay and everything else is tucked up under there. And then
you
the fuel
did that
system
all
runs
yourself,
down there.
Brian?
Yeah.
Great job, man.
Fuel system feeds down there too, and everything round. It's all AN line from the tank to the carb.
Wow.
Everything body-wise, the body is all stock. And every time I try to talk to people about painting it, I cannot tell you how many people are like, nope, leave it, don't touch it. The patina looks awesome.
Yeah, so it really does.
I think it's going to stay there for a while, including my my little sunroof job. So I'm not the best at body work, but I'm learning. So
you and I both, my friend.
96 Cobra calipers, 95 GT spindles. So I've got the proper offset, which is funny. Story is I actually traded the entire front and rear Cobra package for an old MSD 6A box. So I think I made out on that one. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a score.
It is a score, man. I love it. SVE Series 1, 18x10 in the back. They're the Nito 555s that come with the LMR package. Same thing, Cobra brakes in the rear.
Those fit nice, huh, with a 10-inch wheel back there?
Man, it sits just right. I had to roll the lips, but they sit perfect. Let's see. So I have I know it's not the most popular right now, but I got the Raceland coilovers. And I tell you what, for a daily driver, you can't beat that with that price point, man. For $500, you get a full coilover setup. It rides a little stiffer than normal, but it's fully adjustable. And for what I'm doing with this car, I love it. It's perfect.
Absolutely. And you know what? A suspension that's stiff, kind of like my setup, my setup is pretty stiff. It handles around corners. If you want to drive your car, suspension's good.
Yeah. This one handles really well, surprisingly enough for what it is. And then I got the Edelbrock Quiet Flow tucked up underneath there with a bracket. And again, everything's AM fitting. So under the car is really clean. It's just 40 years old.
I love it. Whoever told
also,
you to keep it patinaed, I give those guys a fist bump, man.
Yeah. I got the box and everything mounted underneath the passenger seat. And interior is just really clean. It's
wow.
There's some light. I don't like gauges everywhere, so everything's kind of tucked up out of the way. And then I do have a wideband, so I can tune it. And that sits. This is a really cool. I got it on eBay. It's a what's it called? 3D printed. So it's a 3D printed. It was like $15 on eBay, but it hides the wideband, which is nice.
I just got one of those for my boost gauge, and it's flawless.
Yeah, I love it. So
then you just got that seat, right, Brian? Not too long ago, the driver's seat that you had.
Yeah, so it's like a Summit Racing knockoff. So what's weird is the video makes it look purple. So
it looks like gray.
Does it? Yeah. In person, it's kind of got like this purple hue. So it sits really high. I ended up putting the stock brackets on there, but the only reason I'm doing that is because the stock seats are in such bad shape. So I still have them. So people are like, "Oh, what'd you do with the stock seats? And where'd they go?" But they're just. My uncle was a big boy, and over time, pieces got worn out. I figured that if I'm gonna do this right, take them out, and then just save what's left of them. So when I have the time and the money, then I'll put them all back. But
do you think, do you mean by that down the road that you would have them reupholstered, maybe?
Yeah, so the LMR, I've been looking at the LMR kit and then just taking my time at the house, taking the seats apart and putting them back together. It's you know, like everything else in the car world, it just boils down to money. So
Yep.
when I got the extra cash, then yeah, seats and carpet are on the list. Carpet definitely, just because it sat for so long. Having nice carpet would be nice, but yeah, my
Absolutely.
my first goal with this is get fuel injection on it. So I'm kind of saving my pennies for a sniper EFI kit. Again, it's my daily, so I want to get the best gas mileage out of it as possible. And right now, I'm
Yeah.
getting like 12 or 13 miles to the gallon, and I'm a Reader's Ride feature in Muscle Mustangs. I was like, man, that's really cool. I'd love to see my car in a magazine one day. How'd you do that? So I reached out to him, and he was like, oh, you just write the website on the bottom of the magazine and just tell them that you're submitting your car for Reader's Rides, and that's all I did. So I was like, all right, cool, I could do that. So I went online, submitted the brief story about the car, submitted a couple photos, and then didn't really hear anything for a couple months. And then Henry, one of the editors of Muscle Mustangs, reached out. He's like, man, you have no idea. Like, I shared your story with your car through all the editors here at HotRod, and they just fell in love with it. So if it's okay with you, you want to do a feature on the car instead. So they reached out to Pete Apel, who does a lot of the stories for a lot of the auto magazines. And he wrote the article, did a fantastic job. We chatted over the phone quite a bit before and after the article was written. And that's really it. It was, I submitted for a Reader's Ride, and they reached out and said they loved the history on the car and they wanted to roll something different with it. So
That's who ended up taking those pictures, Brian. Those pictures are awesome.
Oh, thanks, man. So I did. So one of our businesses, my wife and I own a photography business. So we took the car downtown and took some shots of the car.
Wow.